What happens when the most famous teenager in the world suddenly decides to go ghost? Back in 2018, the music industry thought they had found their next billion-dollar asset in a shy, 13-year-old girl from County Durham. We all remember the yellow top, the nervous fidgeting, and then the absolute explosion of sound that left Simon Cowell looking like he'd seen a literal spirit. That single moment didn't just go viral. It rewrote the rules for talent competitions, racking up over 310 million views and turning Courtney Hadwin into a global household name overnight. But as we sit here in 2026, the trajectory everyone predicted, the massive pop albums, the Grammys, the global takeover, didn't happen in the way the suits planned. Instead, Courtney became one of the industry's most fascinating mysteries. After a whirlwind tour and a few scattered releases, the momentum seemed to stall, leaving fans asking if she had become another victim of the child star curse. But the reality wasn't a decline in talent. It was a total rejection of the path laid out for her. While the world waited for her to become the next radio-friendly pop princess, Courtney was busy behind closed doors, realizing that the supernatural label was becoming a cage. She wasn't just a singer. She was a girl being asked to play a character, and the cracks were starting to show. Rumors began to circulate that the pressure of being the new Janis Joplin was weighing so heavily on her that she was ready to walk away from music entirely just to reclaim her identity. The silence that followed wasn't a failure. It was a tactical retreat that would lead to one of the most aggressive and shocking reinventions we've seen in the last decade of music history. But that was only the beginning of her defiance. Behind the scenes of those glossy Instagram posts, a high-stakes legal battle was brewing that nearly silenced her voice forever. Industry insiders have recently leaked details about the friction between Courtney's creative vision and the expectations of the massive corporate entities that held her contracts. Imagine being 16 years old and having the most powerful people in the music business telling you exactly how to dress, how to act, and most importantly, how to sound. They wanted the soulful, retro vibe that had won over America, but Courtney was gravitating towards something much grittier, much louder, and far less marketable for daytime radio. This wasn't just a creative difference. It was a full-scale war for her artistic soul. Reports suggest that during this period, multiple projects were shelved because Courtney refused to compromise on her sound. She wasn't interested in being a cover artist or a karaoke version of 60s rock legends. She wanted to be a pioneer. The tension reached a fever pitch when she finally made the daring move to sever ties with the major label system. It's a move that has ended the careers of many artists, but for Hadwin, it was a necessity. She traded the safety of a guaranteed marketing budget for the uncertainty of independence, a choice that many in the industry viewed as professional self-deletion. However, by removing the gatekeepers, she finally found the freedom to explore the dark, avant-garde rock that had been bubbling inside her since that first audition. She wasn't just leaving a record deal. She was escaping a machine that had tried to turn her into a product. And what happened when she finally stepped out from under their shadow would leave the critics absolutely speechless, as she prepared to reveal a version of herself that no one saw coming. You have to wonder what it does to a person's psyche when millions of people are constantly comparing them to a legend who's no longer with us. The Janis Joplin comparisons were meant to be a compliment, but for Courtney, they became a heavy burden that followed her every move. In the years leading up to 2026, those close to the singer hinted at a deep struggle with her self-image and her identity as a performer. There were even rumors that at her lowest point, she felt so disconnected from her TV persona that she considered changing her stage name or even intentionally altering her vocal style to avoid the constant scrutiny. This wasn't just about music. It was about a young woman trying to grow up under a microscope while being told she was the second coming of a tragic icon. The mental fatigue of living up to that hype led to a period of intense isolation. We now know that during those quiet years, Courtney was actually deconstructing everything she knew about performance. She was dealing with the reality of being a child star In an era of social media where every mistake is magnified and every change in appearance is judged. But instead of letting the pressure break her, she used it as fuel for her 2026 comeback. She began to embrace the imperfections of her voice, the cracks, the screams, and the raw emotion that the producers had previously tried to polish away. She stopped trying to be perfect and started trying to be real. This psychological shift was the key to her survival in an industry that usually chews up and spits out young talent before they even reach 21. But as her mental health stabilized, her sound began to morph into something even more intense and unpredictable, setting the stage for a revolution that would bypass the mainstream entirely. Forget everything you thought you knew about the girl from AGT, because the Courtney Hadwin of 2026 is a completely different beast. She officially entered her Little Miss Jagged era, a title that fans have adopted to describe her raw, unpolished, and fiercely independent new direction. This isn't just a new album, it's a total aesthetic and sonic overhaul. Gone are the vintage dresses and the retro styling. In their place is a dark, avant-garde rock vibe that feels like a mix of 70s punk and futuristic grunge. The songs she's releasing now, like Monsters and Spellbound, aren't designed for the top 40 charts. They're designed to be experienced. Her voice has matured into a powerful instrument that carries a weight and gravel that only comes with age and experience. She's experimenting with dissonant synths, heavy bass lines, and lyrics that dive deep into the controversies and challenges of her rise to fame. Industry critics who once dismissed her as a gimmick are now being forced to take her seriously as a legitimate songwriter and visionary. By embracing the jagged philosophy, Courtney is telling her audience that it's okay to be messy, loud, and unmarketable. This era is characterized by a take it or leave it attitude that has ironically made her more popular than ever with a younger, more rebellious demographic. She's no longer seeking the approval of talent show judges. She's seeking a connection with people who feel just as out of place as she did. The sound is visceral, the lyrics are biting, and the energy is undeniable. It's the sound of an artist who has finally stopped asking for permission to exist, and the result is a sonic explosion that is redefining what it means to be a rock star in the digital age. But the music is only half the story. It's the way she's bringing it to the world that has the old-school executives scratching their heads. While the major labels are struggling to figure out how to sell records, Courtney Hadwin is busy building a global empire entirely on her own terms. In 2026, her independent status isn't a sign of struggle, it's a badge of honor. She has bypassed the traditional radio play and TV promo circuits, choosing instead to build a direct, cult-like connection with her fanbase. Her recent tour across Europe and the UK has been a masterclass in modern music marketing. She isn't playing massive, sterile arenas. She's playing packed, sweaty, high-energy clubs where the fans are so close they can touch the stage. These shows have become legendary for their intensity, with Courtney often performing until she's physically exhausted, leaving everything on the floor. Her new tracks, like the funk-infused D.N.A. and the high-octane Pretty Little Thing, have become anthems for a new generation of rock fans who are tired of overproduced pop. This cult of Hadwin is fueled by her transparency. She shares the highs and the lows of her journey, making her fans feel like they are part of the revolution. She's utilized platforms like Patreon and Discord to create a community that funds her art directly, proving that a loyal tribe is more valuable than a million casual listeners. This model has given her the financial freedom to produce high-quality music videos and live at Metropolis sessions that look and sound better than anything a major label could have manufactured. She is proving that in 2026, the artist holds the power, and the old gatekeepers are becoming obsolete. It's a dangerous precedent for the industry, but a beautiful one for creators. Courtney isn't just surviving as an independent artist, she's thriving, and her success is a blueprint for every other young musician who feels trapped by a contract. But the question remains, can this level of intensity be sustained, Or is she headed for another breaking point? At the end of the day, Courtney Hadwin is a reminder that true talent can't be tamed, no matter how hard the world tries to box it in. As we look at her career from that first viral audition to the rock monster she has become in 2026, the narrative is one of ultimate survival. She didn't just survive the child star trap, she blew it up. She took the fame, the money, and the expectations and threw them all away to find something more valuable, her own voice. Whether she ever returns to the top of the Billboard charts is irrelevant because she has already achieved something much rarer. She's become an icon of authenticity. Her legacy isn't going to be that girl from the talent show. It's going to be the artist who fought the system and won. She has faced rumors, industry blacklisting, and the crushing weight of public expectation, and she's emerged on the other side with her integrity intact. Her 2026 updates show a woman who is in total control of her destiny, a little Miss Jagged who is proud of her scars. As she continues to drop new music and tour the world, she remains a thought-provoking figure in the cultural landscape. Is she a warning to the industry that they can't control everything, or is she a beacon of hope for the next generation of rebels? One thing is for certain, Courtney Hadwin isn't done shocking us. She's just getting started and the world is finally listening to her on her own terms. It makes you wonder, if she had stayed in that golden cage, would we still be talking about her today, or would she have become just another footnote in music history? The fact that we're still here, still watching, and still obsessed tells you everything you need to know about the power of staying true to yourself. Courtney isn't just the next Janis Joplin, she's the first Courtney Hadwin, and that is more than enough.